Shalom, Call Elohim La, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, who do rule and teach well. Peace and blessings, salutations to the hopefully elect tabernacle of David, Akim, and Akwath. Listening and learning, lifting up the standard of Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, wherever you may be, keeping the faith and diligence of our Lord, and enduring to the end. Lord willing, that we be saved. So back again, it's the brother Azariah through the Spirit, going into these last days in which we see that things are progressively getting worse. The squeeze is on in these Western nations, really all around the earth, but particularly within the beast system. It's fragmented. The people are divided among many lines. Households are also divided. Wickedness is at an all-time high. Morality is at an all-time low. So things are already bad, but this is only the tip of the iceberg. And going into 2025, there's a lot to look forward to in terms of prophecy being fulfilled. So here, WEF Memo reveals plan to usher in financial great reset via false flag race wars. So what you see happening in the UK right now, the narrative has been put out there that this was started by Muslim men attacking so-called white people in the streets. All right, there are reports out there of women, Edomite women being raped, Edomite men being beaten, police being beaten. This is being put out there as a race war. And you have people feeding into this, but where did all of this come from? Just all of it, it seemed as though one day things were fine, and the next day, all of a sudden, you had these, what they call bad actors, start to activate and perform certain acts, which is causing confusion among these nations and the people. So what you see happening in the UK, it is going to come to America at some point very soon. And what you see happening in the UK, these are what you call sleeper cells, because these Muslims and other nationalities of men that they say kicked off these, riots and things of that nature, the report is out saying that these were migrant men, all right? And they're over there in the UK causing chaos. Now, like I said, where did all of this come from? These things just exploded all of a sudden. Well, we know that these Western nations, through the WEF order, have been flooding the UK, France, Germany, Italy, and so on and so forth, America, with foreign nationals, which are agent provocateurs of chaos, to put it plainly. They were brought in, majority of them military-aged men, under the guise of refugees. They were brought in for this very hour, right, for things to get turned up in these cities. So believe me when I say, what you see happening in the UK, it is coming to America. The only thing in America, it's going to be much worse, because people here have access to many firearms, and they ready to use them at a moment's notice. And we'll get to it, 2nd Ezra, the 15th chapter, but it says that a man shall have no pity on his neighbor. So when these bad actors, these sleeper cells are activated, they're not going to be having no mercy out here. All right, and ultimately, this is the vengeance of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai coming down on the wicked. So let's get into a portion of this video, and we'll get to precepts. Lord willing, this lesson is edifying.
The World Economic Forum in Davos has ordered global authorities to stoke the flames of civil unrest and turn communities against each other until violent bloodletting becomes the norm and the streets of Western cities run red with blood. If you thought the Great Reset was nothing more than a conspiracy theory, you might want to think again. According to a WEF report, Western nations are responsible for the vast majority of the world's problems, including climate change and colonialism. And in the interest of an equitable future for the world, countries including the UK, US, Canada and Australia must be brought to their knees to allow other regions to rise. The WEF has infiltrated left-wing governments in Western nations to help with the plan, and the results are already playing out before our eyes. Before we dive in, join the People's Voice Locals community if you haven't already, and sign up to become a member of the world's first ever cyber nation that truly believes in life, liberty and the pursuit of your dreams. Visit joson.com and click the Join Us button today. It's completely free. Occupists are congratulating themselves on a job well done and making plans to pour petrol on the fires raging on British streets. Klaus Schwab has said we must prepare for an angrier world. He's not a prophet. He just knows.
Klaus said that years ago. We must prepare for an angrier world. And he also said that we must prepare and expect for there to be a comprehensive cyber attack that's going to shut down the grid. They've been talking about that as well. So these devils, as we've been telling you, they've been putting these plans into the works now. At one time, these things were talks, these things were open discussion, but now they have put their hand to the plow. So this is to let you Israelites know that time is short. See, because when they were just talking about it, that was the warning from Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. And you should have taken these things seriously through the mouth of the prophets at that particular time to prepare yourself for what is coming. Because when these things happen, you're not going to get a do-over. You're not going to be hearing brothers' voices no more. You're not going to be hearing the breakdowns. You're not going to be able to get precepts and the understanding. It's either you're going to have it or you're not going to have it. Think about the book of Eli, where, the bad guys in that movie, they was looking for Denzel Washington because they understood that he had the scriptures. And they said that the scriptures was what? A weapon. See? But when they finally got the book, it was all in Braille because Denzel's character was blind. So when they got the book, they couldn't do nothing with it because ultimately it wasn't what was in the book. It was what was inside of Denzel and his faith. See, he had the whole book memorized, man. All right, so this thing got to be in you. All right, because Esau, he going to order, pass certain laws and mandates to where he's going to be justified by his wicked decrees to come in and take the Bibles or ban the Bible altogether. So at that point, it's not going to be a thing of, all right, we're going to be able to go to this book. No, we're going to have to go as it is written and based on our faith. And through rehearsing the righteous acts and studying to show ourselves approved and going over these precepts constantly, this is how we ingrain the word into our spirit. So when hard times do come, we're able to have that wisdom, knowledge, and understanding that is able to make us stable in the midst of adversity. See?
It's the script.
We have to prepare for a more angry world, social revolution, anger on the streets. We are at a rupture point. Turning point of humankind.
When the WF gives an order, members of the forum, such as Keir Starmer, are already on the move. The new British Prime Minister has wasted no time rolling out the globalist authoritarian tactics, making plans to set up a standing army of duty officers to beat the protesters into submission.
Are you hearing this, man? They are preparing to set up a standing army to beat the protesters into submission. What is this? This is martial law. Okay? This is martial law that is being declared in the UK. Over there, it's nothing going on but anarchy. You see? This is what you have going on, and the same thing is going to happen in the streets of America, because you have in these American cities millions of bad actors, millions of sleeper cells that are ready to be activated at a moment's notice and put in work for the elites. This is why they were sent over here. And who's going to be keeping order in the streets? Because you're not going to have no police that's going to be running around. You're going to have UN troops. You're going to have Gurga. All right? And a lot of these men, they don't give a damn about the average American. Half of them don't even speak English. So you already know what it's going to be. It's going to be a lot of rape going on. People are going to be taken advantage of. You're not going to have no rights. It's going to be either you're going to do what the elites tell you, or you're going to get put down. See? According to a WEF report, Western nations are responsible for the vast majority of the world's problems. And then that is true, including climate change, which is a made-up narrative, and colonialism, which was forwarded by Esau Edom. And in the interest of an equitable future for the world, countries including the UK, US, Canada, and Australia must be bought or brought to their knees to allow other regions to rise. The WEF has infiltrated left-wing governments and Western nations to help with the plan, and the results are already playing out before our eyes. According to those on the inside of the WEF, the time has come to open the gates of hell. See? As the UK descends into civil war, with protesters and counter-protesters at each other's throats, and the British government preparing to unleash a, quote, standing army on the public, the globalists are congratulating themselves on a job well done and making plans to pour petrol on the fires raging on British streets. Klaus Schwab has said we must prepare for an angrier world. He's not a prophet. He just knows the script. And that's absolutely correct. See, this has been the plan all along. And behind these devils, all right, because King David in Psalms said that Esau is the sword of the Most High. So the Edomites, which are currently in power, they're in the seat of rulership. They have the power which was given to them by Yahweh Bashmel Shai to bring the gates of hell, to open up the floodgates of chaos and confusion and death on this earth. This is what it means to be the sword, man, to ultimately bring death and destruction. All right? When the WEF gives an order, members of the forum, such as Keir Starmer, are already on the move. The new British Prime Minister has wasted no time rolling out the globalist authoritarian tactics, making plans to set up a standing army of duty officers to beat the protesters into submission. This is not a joke. The global elite and their minions in power do not respect borders or the Constitution of the United States. And ultimately, they're going to do away with all these things. Like I said, you're not going to have no rights. All right? They are already actively taking your rights away. They're taking away your ability to own, so that now you can only rent, which eventually is going to turn into a you're going to take what you get system, which is why Klaus said that you will own nothing and be happy. And all these things are being done to humble these people, man, okay? Because for the longest time, these people have strengthened themselves in their wickedness. They have not regarded the law, statutes, and commandments. So now the Most High is bringing down his sword upon the wicked. See? So, but the righteous are going to persevere through this time, all right, through their faith. The righteous are going to be faithful unto the end, see? But the wicked, they're going to pass on and be punished. All right, so here we go. Let's go to 2nd Ezra, the 15th chapter, verse 1. Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord, and cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true. So the things that we've been speaking of through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashman Shai, these things are faithful and true because we see them visually happening on the earth, right? Fear not the imaginations against thee. Let not the incredulity of them trouble thee that speak against thee. Incredulity goes into the unbelief or the harsh sayings that people will speak against the true believers, right? Because why? For all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness. So that's what's coming to the unfaithful. That's what's coming to the wicked, the unbelievers, the scoffers, and the scorners. Ultimately, death is going to come to you. You see? Behold, saith the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the world. The sword, okay, which part of that sword is Esau being raised up against these people, right? Famine, death, and destruction. And these things are being brought on by the devil, right? Hey, going back to Psalms, right? The sword of the Most High, okay? The wicked, which is thy sword. Who is the wicked? It's Esau, Edom. And he's bringing what? Famine. He's the one that's destroying the farm. He's the one that's killing off millions of livestock. He's the one that's creating diseases, which is adding to death. He's the one destroying the earth. See, for wickedness hath exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled. Let's go down. Verse 12. Egypt shall mourn, and the foundation of it shall be smitten with the plague and punishment that Yahweh shall bring upon it. They that till the ground shall mourn, the farmers, for their seed shall fail through the blasting in hell, and with the fearful constellation. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. For there shall be sedition among men, protests, uprisings, right? Race wars, see, among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. They're going to have checkpoints. You're going to be limited to a 15-minute city. You're not going to be allowed outside of a certain zone. So people not going to be able to flee at a certain point. You're going to be locked in these cities, thrown in FEMA camps, thrown into detention centers. It's going to be a whole lot of that going on. For because of their pride. And pride is one of the things that the Most High detests, that he hates. The cities shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. This is the point here, verse 19. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword. Now notice how you keep seeing the theme of the sword, right, in this chapter. You keep seeing the sword because this is ultimately what is being sharpened and being prepared to come down and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. See that? So Yahweh Bashman Shai ain't playing, man. See? 2nd Ezra 5 in verse 1. Nevertheless is coming the tokens. Behold, the days shall come that they which dwell upon earth shall be taken in a great number, and the way of truth shall be hidden, and the land shall be barren of faith. And the land is already barren of faith, see? But how much more when people see that the things that they had faith in, whether it be the job, whether it be food, whether it be their money, their bank account, right, when these things are taken away. And they are going to be taken away. But iniquity, which is sin upon sin, shall be increased above that which now thou seest. So iniquity was going on back in the time of Ezra, but in the last days, this time now, it's at an all-time high. That's why it says, shall be increased above that which now thou seest, or that thou hast heard long ago. And Ezra's was about 2,500 years ago. All right, so at that time, he may have thought wickedness was great in the earth, but it ain't nothing compared to what's going on now. And the land that thou seest now to have root, shalt thou see wasted suddenly. But if the Most High grant thee to live, thou shalt see after the third trumpet that the sun shall suddenly shine again in the night, and the moon thrice in the day. Verse 7. And the Sodomitish sea shall cast out fish, and make a noise in the night, which many have not known. But they shall all hear the voice thereof. There shall be a confusion also in many places, and the fire shall be oft sent out again, and the wild beasts shall change their places, and menstruous women shall bring forth monsters. See? So we already have the outline, the playbook, okay, as to what is getting ready to occur on this earth. And we've also been given the blueprint of how to escape these things, which is to reside in the pavilion, the safe pavilion, the strong tower, which is the name of Yahweh Bashmel Mashai, and have faith. All right. So this here we can close out. Michigan begins arresting residents who post misleading content on social media. So everywhere you look, these WEF policies are being implemented. And as it says in Isaiah 10:1, woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, and that write grievousness which they have prescribed. And these are draconian decrees, draconian laws that are being put in place. Which, when you go back to Draco, all right, that also goes into dragon, okay? Which, who was the dragon? Esau, Edom. But Draco, which was an ancient Athenian lawmaker, he pretty much prescribed death for even the most minute of crimes. So if you would have stolen an apple from a market, the punishment, the judgment would have been death. If you would have looked at somebody the wrong way that they would have deemed offensive, you would have been put to death. So these are the same things that are coming back. And this is the wrath of Yahweh Bashar Mashai being brought on by his sword, which is Esau Edom. The state of Michigan has ordered residents to report neighbors who post misleading content online. So just like how Jake like to talk about snitching, well, guess what? They about to incentivize people to snitch on one another. See, this is why it says has ordered residents to report neighbors who post misleading content online. So just see how many households this is going to divide, all right? Because they're going to start putting cash rewards out there. They're going to say, hey, if you report X number of people a day, then we'll give you X amount of money. And especially this is going to be enticing to people because of how hard because of how hard the times are economically. See, which these devils have deliberately made times hard economically so that they can implement these things. And you know, you got to give it to Esau through that left hand. This is a very well thought out devised plan, right? But as the scriptures say, that the elect shall not be deceived, okay? Neighbors who post misleading content online so that police can arrest offenders to stop the spread of election misinfo. Michigan Democrat Secretary of State Jocelyn Benson is leading the campaign, and a document from her office lists an email address people can use to report their neighbors. Wow. Residents are being told to keep an eye on those around them and report anything they see or hear that they believe is misinformation. And they are even being told to include an image if they can. So they're going all out, trying to weed out those who are against the NWO, man. See? They claim that misinformation about voters' rights in the election process could pose a serious threat to the security of the election. So all of this surrounds what? Peace and safety. See? But really what's getting ready to happen is really the mirth of the land is gone. You see? Let's go to Isaiah 24. And verse 3 says, the land shall be utterly emptied and utterly spoiled, for the Lord has spoken this word. The earth mourneth and fadeth away, the world languisheth and fadeth away. The haughty people of the earth do languish, because ultimately people right now, they're in a state of uncertainty and fear because their future looks grim. There's not a positive report that's being put out there into the world. There's not a positive, really there's no light at the end of the tunnel for these people. So they crashing out. They losing everything. All right. The only ounce of comfort that they may have left is their money, is their bank account, and their ability to live well and, enjoy the dainties of this world. See, but very soon, Yahweh Bashmel Shai is gonna dead all that. You see, the Lord is gonna collapse all of this pride, all of this luxurious lifestyle, and you're gonna be down and out. See, because it's time for the proud to be brought low. The earth mourneth and fadeth away, the world languisheth and fadeth away, the haughty people of the earth do languish. The earth is also defiled under the inhabitants thereof, because they have what? Transgressed the laws, right? Changed the ordinance, broken the everlasting covenant. Therefore hath the curse devoured the earth, and they that dwell therein are desolate. Therefore the inhabitants of the earth are burned, and few men left. Now this is the point here. It says, the new wine mourneth, the vine languisheth, all the merry hearted do sigh. We're in a time where people are in a state of mourning. All right, going back to Proverbs 29:2, when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. So the fact that Esau the devil is in power, no wonder the whole of the earth is mourning. No wonder you see the whole of the world in uproars, people uprising against their governments, people not being able to live, people having to work more than one job just to make ends meet. This is this is not living under this devil. This is why there's a need of new rulership on this earth. All right, that's going to come in the form of the kingdom of heaven with Yahweh Shai at the head, where righteousness is going to be instituted in the earth, and ultimately everything, all creation will be better off. It says, the mirth of tabrets cease, the noise of them that rejoice endeth, the joy of the harp cease. They shall not drink wine with a song. Strong drink shall be bitter to them that drink it. So see, not even wine, strong drink ain't even going to be able to help these people in that day. It's going to be bitter to them. So that really means that there's going to be no remedy for the judgment that Yahweh Bashmel Shai is going to bring on this earth. There is going to be no escape. And these people are going to not only be plagued in the flesh, but also in their minds. You see? Which, being plagued in the mind is worse, because you can't run from yourself. Everywhere you go, there you are. All right? So these people are going through mental torment, mental anguish, and they things about to turn up to another level. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and close out here. Lord willing, this lesson is edifying through the Rakah Kadash. Call Allah Yahweh Bashmi Al-Bashai Bashim Rakah Kadash. Until next time, Lord willing, shalom to the elect. Come Yasha Allah and the Bible Ball. On to the next one.